This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
And welcome to the program. I'm Roby Brock. Thanks for being with us this morning. It has been a somber week at the state capitol as a personal issue became front page news. State Representative Justin Harris, a Republican from West Fork, was the center of attention in an Arkansas Times report regarding 2 adopted daughters he and his wife took in. Shortly after the adoption, the Harrises rehomed or placed the daughters with another family without involvement from authorities overseeing the transfer. The practice is legal, but 2 bills have been filed to make it illegal. Covering events all week long were KATV's lead Capitol reporter Janelle Lilley and GEliciaDover. Ladies, bring us up to speed on the story and the latest.
Yeah, Roby, it's a story that even now is still missing pieces. So let's start off with Elicia. Why don't you take us through the timeline of events here?
Sure. And well, Janelle, first of all, we have to credit Benjamin Hardy of the Arkansas Times for his initial work on breaking this story. I think before this week, none of us were even really familiar with the word rehoming. So let's get to the initial Arkansas Times report, what it says happened. And we've also obtained the same court documents and the Arkansas State Police files they did. In that report, it says the Harris family adopted the 2 girls, went through a 6-month trial period that DHS requires. We also learned from Friday's press conference with Harris that there's another older sister of the 2 girls that they tried to adopt first, but couldn't because of her issues. They then proceeded with adopting the other 2 girls. Well, about 6 months after their initial trial period in October of 2013, they put the girls in the care of their friends, Eric and Stacy Francis. Stacy Francis says in her interview with the state police that the girls were in their care until about February or March of 2014. Fast forward to November of 2014, Eric Francis pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting one of those girls. He was convicted of 3 counts of sexual assault and is serving a 40-year sentence. The girls are now reportedly in a 3rd home. Harris said Friday that they signed over custody to that 3rd home.
Yeah, and of course there was a lot of backlash after this story broke. Harris dodged the press for a couple of days initially, but promised that there was more to the story and that the truth would eventually come out. Now on Friday, he and his wife revealed why they chose to rehome their adoptive daughters.
We proceeded with the adoption process and intensive home therapy with the 2 younger girls. Despite ongoing violence toward our boys, we believe that if we continue to show love and affection, the situation would turn out okay. We were wrong. After one of the girls crushed a family pet to death and attempted to abuse 2 pets, we took both girls to a therapist, a psychiatrist, and a pediatrician. All 3 professionals recommended that we remove the children from our home.
Now, also during this press conference, 2 very serious charges were leveled at DHS. First, that the department did not disclose the child's severe emotional issues with the Harris family prior to the adoption. Second, that after the Harrises came to DHS in desperation, a high-level official told Representative Harris that abandonment charges would be sought against him if they returned the children to DHS custody. He also said that custody of their biological children were threatened.
And I spoke to DHS about those very serious allegations. And of course, it is illegal for them to talk specifically about the Harris case for obvious privacy concerns. But this is what they could say about the department's response to anyone who finds themselves in a situation similar to the one Harris described.
If a family is struggling and they have exhausted all resources, they can come to us and we will take those children back into our custody, and there will be no repercussions, no abandonment charges, no criminal charges against that family. That is our policy. That's what we tell folks.
And in response to the first allegation of hiding the child's emotional problems, I was shown a document given to all adoptive families where everything from teeth cleanings to psychological exams are disclosed to the potential adoptive families.
And as we were talking about earlier, the attention surrounding this case has shed a light on an issue few of us have ever even heard about: rehoming. Well, 2 bills have been filed to make the practice illegal in the state. The first by Representative Greg Leding.
I've heard back from DHS and some adoption attorneys where there might actually be some reasonable instances for rehoming. So whatever we do, whatever policy we put in place, we want to make sure that we're doing what's right for parents who are willing to adopt children and those children. So we're taking our time to make sure we get the policy right.
Letting expect some changes to that bill in committee, but the bottom line is there is so much more to come on this story, right, Janelle?
And we do want to clarify that at this point it's really impossible for us to verify those charges leveled against DHS and for them to respond directly, but we have asked the Harris family to identify the person who they allege made the abandonment threat and the witness to that conversation. Back to you, Roby.
All right, Janelle Lilley and GEliciaDover, thanks. No doubt this will remain a hypersensitive subject next week at the state capitol. We will bring you up-to-the-minute reports throughout the week. A short break and we're back with John Brummett. He takes up another highly controversial debate that's been brewing under the Capitol dome. Legislation to remove local control of ordinances to provide civil rights based on sexual orientation has led to a heated public dialogue. Brummett and Senator Jason Rapert, a supporter of the legislation, when we come back.